everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of the Port Charles podcast. I'm your host, Eric, the GH guy, and it is Monday. We are back at it. I hope everybody had a good weekend. For any of you who have seen my posts on Twitter or seen some of my comments online on some of the Facebook groups or on Twitter or anything like that, this podcast is now officially available on iTunes and Stitcher. So whatever your provider is, whether you have Apple or Android, you can now download, subscribe, listen to the show every day, every week, whenever you want to listen to it. So if you would, please take a minute, go to iTunes, hit the subscribe button, go to Stitcher, subscribe, and I'm going to try to bring this to you every day, Monday through Friday. Just take a few minutes, I guess, every day, kind of go over what happened in that episode, talk about anything new that's going on, kind of behind the scenes. Now, I do want to let you all know right off the bat that there will be a spoiler in this episode. There is a spoiler. I am going to mention something that I already know is going to happen. So if you wish to go without spoilers and you don't care to listen to the rest of the episode, hey, no harm, no foul, no hard feelings. I totally understand. I get it. And, I hope you'll tune into the next show. But for the rest of you, it just seems to me like Mondays are a little slow. I mean, you're coming off a Friday, and Fridays are usually really good episodes, and then you got the weekend, and like I said, hopefully everybody had a good weekend, and you get all kind of amped up, ready to go for Monday. You hope that there's going to be something happens that kind of draws you in for the week, and today just really kind of didn't deliver that. It did in some areas, but I think for the most part, today was just a really slow day. You got the whole thing with Nina and Valentine, and I can't say that I'm really a big fan of their relationship. I like both characters, but I think I like them separate, interacting with other people, not interacting together. And I think it really has a lot to do with the fact that Nina really kind of comes off as like this young schoolgirl who's in love for the first time, and she just can't see all the bad things in her man, and so I don't know. I mean, there's just something about that just kind of bugs me. I just think Nina's, she's too grown, she's too smart, she's too sophisticated to, really kind of fall for this crap from Valentine. And, I really don't know where I come down on Valentine as far as the character goes. Now, I like the character. I think he's very intriguing. I think he's definitely added a lot. And, James playing him has done just an outstanding job so far. But I think I almost prefer what's the word I'm looking at? I guess cocky Valentine. And we kind of saw a little glimpse of that today. And it seems like when things are going against him, he's more humble. He's more, and today he did kind of play the poor me card a little bit. The poor me, I'm so persecuted. Everybody's out to get me. But in the end, when he realized that, the police had to let him go, they found out who the real kidnapper was. It was almost like that cockiness just immediately came back to Valentine. And that's the Valentine I like. I like the Valentine that was on Cassadine Island, the one that shot Nicholas, the one that, it stands up to Lulu and Dante and kind of, I want to see that kind of Cassadine back. I think the show is better when you have, badass Cassadines, kind of ruling the roost a little bit, you know what I mean? Like Helena and Stavros and at times Stefan and Nicholas. Nicholas always bored me except for when he was doing the dirty and underhanded stuff to people. Like at the end, when before Tyler Christopher left and before they, quote unquote killed off Nicholas, yeah, I really liked what the character was doing. I thought he was bringing that edge back to the Cassadine family that I thought was really lacking. I also feel like that's kind of, I think it's lacking from every family, really. I mean, the show, for the most part, is really tame. There's not a lot of edgy stuff. Even Sonny is, I mean, he's the head of a mob, and he doesn't do anything that remotely resembles being in a mob. He has no real enemies. I mean, he has Garvey here, but he's temporary. So, you know, but getting back to Valentine, I think I like him away from Nina. I think she brings the character down. And then just throwing Nathan in there. I mean, it really reminded me, very reminiscent of like this junior high school thing. Don't mess with my sister, or I'm gonna beat you up, kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's just, to me, it was just a little, just too much and not enough at the same time. If that makes any sense, like, it was. We didn't need to go there to realize that Nathan has a problem with Valentine being with his sister. But on the same hand, him and his sister really don't interact that much. I mean, very rarely do you see them in scenes together. So, I don't know. And it seemed like after talking to Ulbrich at the Floating Rib, I think she kind of lit the spark back in Nina, smartened her up a little bit. And Nina went rushing back to Valentine. And then they started making out by a trash can, which, of course, is usually always the most romantic spot to just start randomly making out, is by a trash dumpster. But so now it looks like Nina's stupidly going to go back to Valentine, and it's just a matter of time before he does something else dumb. So moving on, you had Garvey in the hospital. Carly's wanting answers. She's demanding to know where Sonny is. Dante won't let her anywhere near him because he is a wanted fugitive, so the police have got to stay on him. Well, something happened in this episode that I really liked. I thought it was a nice touch. Excuse me. That it was actually Elizabeth that went over to Carly and was basically like, hey, Garvey's in his room alone, so you might want to go tell Dante that it's probably going to be a while before I can get there and check on him. In other words, this was her way of letting Carly know, look, the coast is clear. He's in the room all by himself. Do what you got to do. And, of course, Carly immediately sprung into action. And I love this side of Carly. Like, the side that we saw today when she was talking to Garvey. I mean, she was so, excuse me, she was just badass and menacing, and like she could just end his life in half a second and not even feel bad about it. I mean, when she talked about, I had a year of medical school, so I know how these, the morphine drip works, and if I pull it, you're going to be in a lot of pain. So it's almost like the threat is there. Excuse me. The threat is there, but there's just something about that side of Carly I really dig. And my immediate thought was that as much as Carly wants Sonny out of the mob, I think there's a part of her that doesn't, because I think Carly likes this side in kind of a weird, perverse kind of way. She likes being the badass. She likes being the one that can go in there and just take an enemy out like that. And I really kind of dug it. Like, I really got that sense about her. Like, she wasn't emotional. She wasn't just reacting. She seemed very calculated and cold, and she was very Sonny-like in that moment. And I like that. So I don't think you've seen the last of Sonny in the mob by any means, because I just think Carly is she's grown to accustomed to that way of life that, I think she doesn't really, for the most part, think twice about it. Now, speaking of Sonny, hold on, I'm going to take a little quick sip of water here. A little swig of water for the GH fan out there. We got to stay hydrated. It's hot. It's summer. And I'm in Texas, so it's doubly hot. Triply hot. Is triply a word? I don't know. I just made it up. So anyway, speaking of Sonny, he's still in the damn pit. Like, really? How long is this going to go on? Enough is enough. He's still in the pit. When did Sam kick him down there? Monday, Tuesday of last week, and he spent the whole week in the pit. Now he's there again today, and at the very end of the episode, Stone made his return. Now, they didn't show his face, but we already know Stone is making an appearance, and so tomorrow, I'm sure they'll show that it's Stone, and, he's coming to Sonny as a vision, because, of course, Stone is dead, which, by the way, something strikes me as weird, seeing a picture of of Sonny and Stone together. If Stone's a ghost, when do ghosts get haircuts? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but when Stone died of AIDS, he had long hair. And now all of a sudden he shows up as an apparition and he's got short hair. So I don't know. I guess ghosts have good barbershops up there in heaven. I don't know. I don't know how that works out. I guess we'll all find out one day. But anyway, so Stone's coming to Sonny in his time of need. And I really wish Stone would have brought a damn stepladder with him because, we got to get Sonny out of there. We know he's not going to die. We know he's going to get found. He's going to get rescued. And, but they need to get on with it already. Like, we get it. He's in the pit. He's close to death, but, let's face it. The guy's been bleeding for 5 days straight. So if he hasn't died yet, he's probably not going to. So let's get this story moving a little bit. Let's get him out of that pit. Let's get him back to Garvey. Let's get him interacting with Jason and with Carly and, finding out about Sam shooting him and all this other stuff. So, like I said, when I said that I feel like things were a little slow today, this was a big reason why, because it doesn't seem like we're moving fast enough. And there's certain storylines where you want to take your time, you want to do that slow build, and I can appreciate that. But in an instance like this where there's nothing happening, it's like you just got to move it on already, So tomorrow we'll see more of Stone and Sonny, and hopefully tomorrow he'll get the hell out of the pit. Anybody, go find Sonny. Take a rope ladder, take a stick, I don't know, whatever you got to do, but get this guy the hell out of the pit already. So, and another thing that I feel like is really kind of slow is this whole thing with Obrecht and Hayden's ex. And in today's show, he turned down the deal that she wanted to make. She showed him all the information on Hayden, and I believe his name is Jared. I think that's what they said his name was. But it almost struck me as though Jared got what information he needed from the paperwork that Obrecht gave him and then turned down her deal because he wants to go after Hayden, but he wants to do it on his own. And we saw at the very end of the show, Finn leaves their new house, Hayden's sitting there on the floor, and in walks Jared. Now, two things. One, how did he get in without a key? I guess Finn left the door unlocked. And second of all, it was like 2 or 3 seconds after Finn leaves, the door opens. How in the world did Finn not see the guy? There's just no way. You could not have walked through the same door that Finn just walked out of without the man seeing you. And another thing that struck me as weird, and again, I tend to pick up on a lot of these little silly details, but this is a new house they're buying, right? They have no furniture. I'm guessing they have electricity because it seems like lights are on. But when did they get Wi-Fi? Because Hayden's just sitting there with her laptop, just playing around, looking at house stuff. And then it dawns on me, wait a minute. They don't have anything in this house. How could they have Wi-Fi already? They barely have electricity. And apparently they don't have locks on the door because Jared just waltzed right on in like he owns the place. So I know where this is going, and this is the moment where I'm going to get into the spoilers. So if anybody's been listening so far and you don't want to hear spoilers, now is the time where I'm going to discuss that spoiler. We know that Rebecca's leaving the show. We know Hayden's being written off. So obviously Jared is going to have something to do with that. Now, from what I understand, they're not going to kill off the Hayden character. So I don't understand how they're going to write her out based in the situation that she's in. I don't understand how they're going to write her out without killing her off. I mean, it would make sense if Jared came in, just whacked her out, and, that was the end of it. Bye-bye, Hayden. But if they're not going to kill her off, it's not like Hayden's going to run off with him. She's going to fall back into his arms and run away and raise Finn's baby with the guy. I mean, that's not even a possibility. So, I don't know. I hope this storyline doesn't drag on too long. I mean, not that I'm in a hurry to see Rebecca leave the show, because I think she's a phenomenal actress. I think she's really knocked the ball out of the park with this Hayden character. I didn't like it at first. I didn't like her with Nicholas, but I did like the story with her and Elizabeth, and I like how they've bonded over these last couple of months since they found out they were sisters. And so, I hope this doesn't last too terribly long. But, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to write this out. I mean, what do you do with this character? I'm the kind of guy that I like to take a current storyline and kind of see, okay, if I'm writing this, where would I go with it? And honestly, if it was me, I would just kill the character off. I mean, you're kind of, writing yourself into a corner here, and I'm sure there'll be something that happens that, makes perfect sense, or maybe it won't, but, maybe they have an idea of what they're going to do to write her off, because they knew before they took their summer break that they were getting rid of this character. So, I don't know. I mean, Finn's staying, Hayden's leaving, so I don't know where this goes. Now, here's another dynamic. What if she kills Jared and goes to prison? I mean, there you go. I guess that, maybe I just answered my own question there. Maybe she kills Jared and she gets arrested for it. And she goes and has her baby in prison. Finn gets it, raises the baby as a single dad, and mom's off in prison until one day the idiots at ABC can pony up enough money to figure out how to keep Steve Burton and Rebecca Budig at the same time. Sorry, little rant there, but I think it's a little stupid to can one actor just so you can bring back another one that already turned their back on you. But I mean, I'm a big Steve Burton fan, and I'm glad he's coming back. But I feel like ABC could have kept both of them if they really wanted to. So now we've got Sam in the hospital, although she wasn't seen at all today. You had interaction with Jason and Carly. And you had Jason talking to himself a lot. Like, I find that weird. And I understand the necessity of it in television and in soap operas, because it's almost like theater. You can't. Sometimes you have to verbalize thoughts just so the audience knows kind of what's going on in your head. You don't have a voiceover that's doing your thoughts, so you kind of have to verbalize what you're thinking in order for the audience to kind of grasp that. Because, I mean, if they just sit there and show Jason for 5 minutes sitting there quietly, I mean, yeah, you're going to know he's thinking about Sam, but it's going to be like, okay, what's going on? So, I mean, I get it. I understand the necessity of it, but I still find that weird. I mean, am I the only one? Is there anybody else that finds that a little weird, that characters will talk to themselves? And, and kind of on that note, another thing I find weird is, notice this when it happens. If you've never noticed this before, you'll probably notice it now every time you see it. But anytime two characters are talking and one always walks past the other one, and usually they'll face a window or, just stare into space, but they'll continue talking with their back to the other person. Like, have you ever done that in real life? Like, I never have. It's kind of like, it's just, again, it's a weird dynamic. Like, why are you talking with your back to somebody? That just doesn't make any sense. Turn around and face them. Why would you walk past them to turn your back on them and keep talking? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just weird like that. And like I said, I notice the little silly things sometimes. But see that the next time it happens. And it'll happen. It happens like every week. Every week, somebody's going to do it, at least once. So check that out. But yeah, people that talk to themselves, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just a little weird to me. But I mean, like I said, I get it. So anyway, that's Monday. Like I said, not a lot happened. You got Jared walking in on Hayden. You got Carly trying to get information from Garvey. Sonny seeing Stone for the first time, which, I'm sure it's going to click in Sonny's head that, hey, I must be dying if I'm seeing Stone. But, I wonder who's going to get him out of there. I don't think it's going to be Jason. I don't think it's going to be Carly. It's got to be somebody totally different. Maybe Griffin. Maybe... I don't know. I mean, it's from what I understand and what I read today, Steve Burton is still not on set, so he's not taping at this point in time. So I don't think it's going to be Steve Burton that comes along and finds Sonny. No, I mean, it could. He could have taped the scene and went back to Nashville, but from what I understand, Steve's still in Nashville. He hasn't come to LA yet to start filming any episodes. So now we're looking at, I mean, they run like 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks ahead of time. So, I mean, even if he came in this week and started filming, I mean, you're looking at September before Steve shows up in whatever character he's playing. So I don't think it's going to be Steve that finds him. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be Carly or Jason. Obviously isn't going to be Sam. I mean, Jocelyn and Oscar had a chance to find him, but, they were too busy worried about their bicycles. And so I don't know. I mean, it could just be somebody totally random. It could be Olivia. It could be Ned. It could be Christina. It could be Molly. I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't know what any of them would be doing around the distillery. And hell, maybe Sonny becomes Superman all of a sudden and just kind of catapults himself out of there. But I would think that if he was able to do that, he would have done it by now. I mean, it kind of looked like there was a lot of boxes and crates in there. I don't know why he doesn't just build a nice little sophisticated ladder and climb out. But, I mean, hey, who am I to get in the way of good drama, right? I mean, we needed 5 days in a row of Sonny sitting in a pit talking to himself, right? So, anyways, that's Monday's show. Like I said, I'm going to try to do this, 5 days a week if I can. Some days are going to be harder than others, and if I miss a day, I'll make it up the following day. I'll do 2 episodes in one day or something like that. But I really want to try to do this daily for everybody, just so we could, get some interaction. We could talk about things as they're happening. And, we can bounce ideas and suggestions off of each other. So, if you like, you can follow me at Twitter at TheGHGuy. And like I said, you can also email the show, portcharlespodcast@gmail.com. Send your questions, send your suggestions, send your ideas. If you send me good stuff, I'll probably read it right here on the air. And like I said, we can get that dialogue and conversation going. And also, like I said at the beginning of the show, this show is now on iTunes and Stitcher. So please, 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 I'm asking you, I'm begging you, from the bottom of my heart, it would mean a lot to me if you would go to iTunes or go to Stitcher, hit that subscribe button, write a review if you have time. Like I said before, and I'll keep saying it, this is for all of us. This isn't just for me. I mean, I'm not a professional podcaster. I mean, as you can tell from my shows, I'll get better as time goes on, but this is a brand new thing for me to sit here behind a microphone and basically just talk to myself about what's going on. But, I don't know. I mean, so, this doesn't work without all of you guys. If I just sit here and talk to myself for 20, 30 minutes, then this is going to be a very boring show. So I welcome your feedback. I welcome your ideas and your suggestions and questions. Please send them to me. No question is too dumb. I will answer everybody that I can possibly get to, and again, just if you would, please hit that subscribe button, and it would mean a lot. It would get this show a lot of exposure, and we can help build this community a lot faster. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This episode ran a little bit longer than I wanted to. I'm still going to keep it under 30 minutes, so that's good. But I want to thank each and every one of you for listening, for taking some time out of your day, spending it with me, spending it with us, your GH family. So until next time, I am the GH guy, and this has been the Port Charles Podcast.